What's good, everybody? Welcome into Inside the Green Room with Danny Green. I'm Harrison Sanford, and we are presented to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. We are excited for this new NBA season of ITGR because we'll be coming to you every Wednesday and Friday morning, and you might catch us streaming live on X. A lot going down, and a lot has happened in the world of basketball, not just the NBA, but in the WNBA. In today's episode, we're going to talk about Russell Westbrook, still not on the team. We're going to talk about Jonathon Kuminga finally signing a deal with the Golden State Warriors, and we will definitely start with what's going on in the WNBA because Napheesa Collier went off on WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert today. She revealed a conversation that they had, and it is not looking good on both sides. We're looking at a lockout, it would seem, as the CBA deadline approaches October 31st. And to help us break that down, ESPN women's sports commentator Ari Chambers is joining us. Ari, thank you for joining us.
I love a dramatic open to match a dramatic day, so this is great. Let's get it going.
Definitely want to get it going. What's good, DG?
What's up with it? Same old here, man. Long day of parenting. Appreciate you joining us, Ari. This is dope. I can't wait to see what Harrison's got lined up for us. So that I purposely had to avoid social media today because Harrison's trying to,
you better be
shock your boy.
Yeah, it definitely got a little bit spicy. And yes, Danny's right. I have not told him what happened in that press conference from Napheesa Collier. So if you're listening to this pod or you're watching this pod and you haven't seen it either, some ether is on the way. But before we do that, I gotta talk to y'all. And Ari, I'm glad you're here. So DG and I, we go way back, and I told him I was going to Charlotte this past weekend for my mom's birthday to visit my youngest brother. Now, let me say this first. We look and we listen and we don't judge. I don't care what airline you're on. Do your thing. The economy is rough at times. You can fly however you want to fly. I'm not judging people if you fly on Spirit. However,
on
Monday morning, as I was in the airport in Charlotte, Ari, I saw a woman with the BBL in the Spirit boarding line, and I feel like that's, come on, yo. They don't matter.
If
she want to be thick, let her be thick. Let her be thick and peace.
On Spirit, though?
Let her be thick and peace. You don't know how she got that. Let her be thick and peace. Let her ride Spirit and be thick.
It just sounds like priorities are not in line. If you have the money to pay for BBL, you got a sponsor. You better get the sponsor to at least get you to Southwest or something.
Circumstances change by the day. You're in Charlotte Airport. You have other things to worry about, like the construction.
I'm not Harrison. I'm judging you. If I see you, listen, I'm all for all right, there's the one direct flight from this airline, cool. But if you're in Frontier and Spirit, knowing how bad it is, and if you're showing that you have money in other ways, I'm looking at you crazy. You should not be wearing Gucci, Prada, BBL, or have a Rolex.
Prioritize where the coins go. Prioritize where the coin is deposited. She deposited in, what she wanted to deposit in. If she wanted to take a little quick trip, I'm not
shaming BBLs. I'm not shaming Spirit Airlines. Hey, I'm middle Spirit.
Don't judge. You watch and you judge. What I'm not gonna do is not have my sister's back. I don't know, mama, but she did what she wanted to do.
Look, listen, we don't judge BBL. There ain't nothing wrong with a BBL. So you gotta money manage a little better. That's all we're saying. You got the money to buy this thing. Again, if it's one direct flight, listen, I would love to hear the story, but nah, I'm not rolling. I think you just got to be better with them. Listen, there's a lot of people that make bad decisions with money out there and just don't have their priorities straight.
Budget alignment is real. That was at the top of the spreadsheet. Okay.
I won't judge a book by its cover, but it's telling me
it just looked crazy to me.
Managing your money right.
It just looked crazy to me.
And she minded her business in Charlotte Airport, just trying to survive. Okay.
Harrison's about to go shoot a shot too.
I just do not like Charlotte Airport.
And he's going to walk into the Frontier Airlines or Spirit Airlines. He's like, I can't even talk to her. Harrison's about to shoot a shot. He's like, nah, can't do it. That's why Harrison's so upset.
Why I just want to save my girl?
Because
now he's got to pay more money now to get her a better flight. He's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not trying to pay for your flight.
Check. or hush. Okay, cut the check or shut up.
Harrison's learned a lot in his 38 years. He knows.
Oh God, I'm
knows
just
where
saying.
Punching bag is.
If she was on the Delta borderline, maybe it'd been a bit differently. But on the Spirit, I was like,
this was some problem with y'all Delta people.
Listen, that's a little. I said Southwest.
United, baby. We don't care
cool
what you have on. We don't care.
United cool.
You're welcome, God. But you a Delta person.
I'm not naming her. I'm not airing her out. And if anybody wants to fly Spirit Airlines with their BBL, do your thing. I'm just saying it rubbed me the right way. I'm just saying it looked like an oxymoron. You know what I'm saying? That's all. That's all. That's like getting VIP at the club and you're drinking Jose Cuervo. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing here? You done got bottles.
I raised it when I was in my early 20s and I was still a model. I would have everything at my beck and call, but I was broke. Okay, sometimes you gotta get the best of both worlds.
There you go. Yeah, but it's hard to get VIP doing that. You saying go to
VIP. You have no money in your
VIP drinking E&J ain't the move.
Gotta go to general public. Go right to the bar where everybody else is at.
Right in the bottom shelf with the rest. Y'all are crazy.
Oh goodness. All right, we got to get to the actual show here. Let's get into what's going down in the WNBA. And if you haven't been paying attention, it's been a contentious series in the in one side of the WNBA playoffs, particularly between the Minnesota Lynx and the Phoenix Mercury. There was a foul that happened at the end of game number 3, where we had Alyssa Thomas steal the ball from Napheesa Collier. Alyssa Thomas. Some people thought she stole the ball. Some people thought she committed a foul. Cheryl Reeve, the head coach of the Minnesota Lynx, was not happy about it. And Napheesa Collier, after her season has now ended, wasn't happy about it either. Here is Napheesa Collier, and I advise you to grab your snacks as she addressed the media at the end of her season press conference.
We looking like Camden Mace right
on Tuesday.
Congratulate the Mercury for advancing to the finals. And I want to be clear, this conversation is not about winning or losing.
I'm so sorry.
Something much bigger. The real threat to our league isn't money, it isn't ratings, or even missed calls, or even physical play. It's the lack of accountability from the league office. Since I've been in the league, you've heard the constant concerns about officiating, and it has now reached levels of inconsistency that plague our sport and undermine the integrity in which it operates. Whether the league cares about the health of the players is one thing, but to also not care about the product we put on the floor is truly self-sabotage. Year after year, the only thing that remains consistent is the lack of accountability from our leaders. Sorry, I had to walk here in my boot. I'm kind of out of breath. The league has a buzzword that they've rolled out as talking points for the CBA as to why they can't pay the players what we're worth. That word is sustainability. But what's truly unsustainable is keeping a good product on the floor while allowing officials to lose control of games. Fans see it every night. Coaches, both winning and losing, point it out every night in pregame and postgame media. Yet leadership just issues fines and looks the other way. They ignore the issues that everyone inside the game is begging to be fixed. That is negligence. At Unrivaled this past February, I sat across from Cathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league. Her response was, well, only the losers complain about the refs. I also asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their first 4 years. Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. And in that same conversation, she told me, players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them. That's mentality driving our league from the top. We go to battle every day to protect a shield that doesn't value us. The league believes it succeeds despite its players, not because of them. I have the privilege of watching my husband run a league where he has to balance 100 different things at once. I won't pretend the job is easy, but even with all of that on his plate, he always takes the time to reach out to players when he sees an injury, whether it's Unrivaled or even during the WNBA season. That is what leadership looks like. It's the human element. It's basic integrity, and it's the bare minimum any leader should embody. This year alone, I've gotten calls, texts, and well wishes from so many players across the league. Those moments remind me that sometimes there are things bigger than the results than this game we play. But do you know who I haven't heard from? Cathy. Not one call, not one text. Instead, the only outreach has come from her number 2 telling my agent that she doesn't believe physical play is contributing to injuries. That is infuriating, and it's the perfect example of the tone-deaf, dismissive approach that our leaders always seem to take.
Tone-deaf?
I've finally grown tired. For too long, I have tried to have these conversations in private, but it's clear there is no intention of accepting there's a problem. The league has made it clear it isn't about innovation, it isn't about collaboration, it's about control and power. I've earned this platform and I've paid the price to get here, and now I have a responsibility to speak on behalf of the fans and everyone in this league that deserves better. Our leadership's answer to being held accountable is to suppress everyone's voices by handing out fines. I'm not concerned about a fine. I'm concerned about the future of our sport. At some point, everyone deserves to hear the truth from someone who I hope has earned the benefit of the doubt to fight for what is right and fair for our athletes and our fans. We have the best players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now, we have the worst leadership in the world. If I didn't know exactly what the job entailed, maybe I wouldn't feel this way. But unfortunately for them, I do. We serve a league that has shown they think championship coaches and Hall of Fame players are dispensable, and that's fine. It's professional sports. But I will not stand quietly by and allow different standards to be applied at the league level. Thank you. I have prepared a statement that I would like to make.
Well, all right. You had your snacks. Napheesa Collier used words like negligence, tone deaf. Danny and Ari, I can't wait to hear your response. But Danny, as somebody who's been a player rep before in the Players Association for the NBA, at least, what are your thoughts?
Bruh. What? I don't think I've seen a player take this. Mind you, in our leagues, David Stern was not one to be messed with. You know, obviously he was the head of the league, but some might have thought he could have been head of other like associated organizations. He could have been a mob boss roller. You know what I'm saying? Guys were scared, might get knocked off. This takes ball to go at the head of, you know what I'm saying? You shoot at the king, better not miss. I'm a fan of Napheesa. I think she's great. I think this put her another notch above. I wouldn't say another notch above, but I'm even more a fan now, the way that she carries herself, handles herself, but so many different thoughts, so many different emotions, bro. But her having her teams back, her coaches back, the players back, she felt this was the only way out. She has insight. Her husband, works in the space. Bro, this is kind of crazy. So I've never seen a player take this angle and attack the way she's attacking.
She went straight for the throne.
Straight for the throne. And I hope this obviously creates change, but it's an eye-opener for the league. And if those conversations happened and what was said is true verbatim, it's kind of wild.
Like Caitlin should be grateful that she's able to make.
They should be on their knees thinking. It sounds kind of. I said if a man were saying this, it'd be unbelievably wild. But anybody saying it is wild. You should be on your knees thanking us for what you have. You're not this unless without us. I wish I could say like you're gonna find out that you're very wrong. But I think it's life will humble you. There will be a way where she's gonna find out. As much as you think the players need you, you need the players as well. Like if not more so, especially those players that she named. They are bringing your league to another level, which it never has been before in the past. So instead of you saying they should be thankful, I think she should be the one that's more thankful. It could get ugly. So we'll see, man. I said a lot of range of thoughts, a lot of range of emotions. And it's like, damn, okay, Napheesa, do your shit. You know what I'm saying? But man,
this is a feed that has grown into it's something in that Yukon water that they brew a little bit slow and then like they blow up to be the biggest activists in the world. And you see it with Breanna Stewart and how outspoken she's been over the years. And now Napheesa Collier is stepping into her power. And it is interesting because she said, my husband and I know how to run a league. They began Unrivaled. She's one of the founders of Unrivaled. Alex Bazell is very hands-on with that league operationally as well. And so that combined with being the vice president of the WNBA, she not only knows the standard that she wants to request going forward for the entire league, but she knows in its infancy what it takes to build a league, right? So the WNBA, nobody's arguing that it's the longest standing women's sports league in the United States, and it's had that tenure for a reason. Shout out to David Stern, you mentioned him. that's a bad man, right? Mm-hmm. But throughout its time, they've always been on the forefront of fighting for what's right, for what's good in history, and not worrying about the repercussions. They are boldly always standing as a united front. And this, Napheesa is aware of her power and used it for amplification and boldness for the players that might not get a chance to speak out in this way and be heard in this way. She knows the power that she has, and she used it today. And we see that more and more. We saw it with Cheryl Reeves. She got ejected from the game because of that steal from Alyssa Thomas. Let's be very clear. It was ruled a steal, so we're just going to go with what it was ruled because of her distaste and disdain for the refereeing and the physicality that ensued that game. And then she went on the press conference, dropped a couple F-bombs live on SportsCenter, Lord help it all. But then got suspended for the next game. But her actions, she's been in this long enough to know that her actions were going to warrant that. So she made a statement by doing that. Becky Hammon and Stephanie White followed up with statements and got fined for it. Napheesa got on that stage today and dared them to retaliate in speaking for or advocating for herself. So it is interesting, and it blurs the lines of free speech. Yeah, you can speak however you want. There will be consequences because you can have as much speech as you want, but you still play under an organization. So that's another thing. And so when you have the free speech, at hand, then you have a league full of so many different identities. And it's a league of women who are known to push. I mean, this is a league that flip the Senate in 2020. Like, be so for real. They're not afraid of anything. Like, they just aren't. They're not afraid of anything. And in that year that you're right. They flipped the freaking Senate, dog. They were ready when Jacob Blake got murdered. They were ready to sit out. Like, they had a long discussion about, like, should we play today? Like, there's so much advocacy that's, like, woven so deeply within the WNBA without fear of repercussions because they want to fight for a better good. And this is exactly what you see. And then players are now backing her. Angel has already been like, yup. And what was said is that's my girl. I got her back.
The world.
So, like, there's so many different players.
So what I was thinking about was when the WNBA players made an aggressive move to get Kelly Loeffler out of ownership for the Atlanta Dream way back then. And so now what I'm curious about, Ari, and obviously you know the players well. Now, negotiations always get messy. They always get messy in any world of business.
Yeah.
But today's attack or today's press conference, however you want to phrase it, from Napheesa Collier.
We're not going to do an attack now. I'm going to save you from yourself with that word. We're not going to use attack.
Today's press conference.
Yeah.
It felt personal. It felt like I'm going to air out Cathy Engelbert for all of the things that she said that I know are not going to sit right. Pointing out.
Personal. I saw it as, hey.
What did you see it as?
I saw it as we tried to negotiate this privately, but now I have a platform and all eyes are on our exit presser. So what better way to air it out than now?
For sure. But with that being said, though, I thought, and what's going to capture a lot of people's attention, particularly if you're a Caitlin Clark fan, is Napheesa opening up the door to that private conversation that she had with Cathy, where she said that Cathy told her that other young players should be on their knees in gratitude for the platform the WNBA is performing or allows them to have. Like, hey, I ain't mad at Napheesa for saying it, but I think that casts such a negative light, not just on the WNBA ownership group, because I understand they have the negotiating stance, but it casted a negative light specifically on Cathy for her to be on record, or at least somebody has witnessed saying that she said that, to the point where when I saw the news today and I saw that quote, I was like, yo, I don't know if Cathy's going to be the commissioner anymore. They're going to get a deal. I believe they'll get a deal done eventually.
They're definitely going to get a deal done. They're going to get a deal done. This always happens. It always goes to people like to play hardball. Everybody's negotiating on this call, right? Y'all know how you play hardball.
Yeah, you can't take the first one.
Exactly. And the common goal is always to continue to perpetuate the product, especially when it relates to women's sports right now, the trajectory it's on. I don't anticipate a lockout. I anticipate more flexibility when it comes to what the players want. And like, let me rephrase. I anticipate the players being met to their standards, because now, especially that this light has been shown on what's been going on behind closed doors that I don't necessarily know if we should have been made privy to. I mean, you have to force change, but there's going to be a more willingness to be like, okay, what do you want? Let me listen to you. And that to me is what the whole point of today was in Napheesa's eyes. I cannot speak for the altruism behind it. I can just say, hey, I know these athletes and I know that they are historically on the right side of history, the correct side of history. And they want the greater good to come of it. And I think that if she did not feel like that this would benefit the greater good, it wouldn't have been carried out like this. You know, are there more gentle ways to go about it? Maybe, but I never saw a revolution that had gentleness attached to it.
Put it on a t-shirt. So Danny, I think what's interesting from your perspective too is that you often complained or like voiced your opinion, at least on the pod, or at least, you know, when you had the chance, that the NBA didn't allow enough physical play because you like to play defense. Now, Napheesa is kind of saying here that some of the officiating is just not good, or it's allowing a level of play that's not conducive, I guess, to the overall health of the league. I'm curious your viewpoint of that, Danny, seeing as though you wanted more physical play, but you probably also understood freedom of movement, allowing players to score better and being more free on the court probably led to where the NBA is now in terms of its valuations of its franchise, the overall value of the game.
Yeah, that's one thing I did want to touch on. But before I get into this, I want to give a shout out to the referees. I don't want it to make it seem like,
hey, man, you're not playing anymore. You don't have to play nice, Danny.
I understand, but I don't want to make it seem like we're trying to ish on them, because in every sport, a lot of these referees, especially in the W and even NFL, it's not their main job. Like, he's like, oh, these referees, this is a side gig of their side gig. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys only come here once every couple of weeks. I don't know what the W referees do on a side. Like I'm saying, so like, this is not their full-time job for some of them. And I know some of them are trying to do their best, which is not good enough. Like, at the end of the day, to me, it seems like, and it always comes down to the politics. Obviously, the referee, everybody differently. And that's what most people argue. They want consistency. They want, you know, either regular season, playoffs obviously is different, but they want the same thing. Don't just call fouls because so-and-so has a name. Don't just let this happen because so-and-so is so-and-so. And that's the biggest thing for me. It's obviously I was biased towards defense because I want to see more physicality. And we saw that in the playoffs, which was a better product to me to show, and fans would tune in to watch. You know, you don't see a lot of foul baiting. You see a lot of guys at the free throw line, or, you know, whether it's Giannis or SGA or Jokic shooting 20, Luka shooting 20, 30 free throws a game. Nobody wants to watch that. So you got to let guys, and they're already good. You don't need to help them out that much. So that's the issue that I had, was that the inconsistency is like, they're going to call a travel on me before they'll call travel on Kyrie. You know what I'm saying? And then they're going to call a foul, offensive foul on me before they call it against Kevin Durant or LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? So that's the biggest rift most guys have, is the inconsistency. So I said, I like her approach when it came to that, of like, we need to back the players and make sure that we have the right people or qualified referees in place.
I think that's where I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that, though, because I don't think it's necessarily the referee's quality per se. I think, and Ari, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Napheesa was pointing out that there's an overall mindset from the league that physical play to a certain extent is okay. And I think, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, that Napheesa is saying like, we as a league are allowing the refs to allow too much physicality. And that's why Caitlin Clark missed majority of the season. That's why Breanna Stewart missed a multitude of games and things of that nature. Am I understanding that correctly?
I think she's saying be more intentional in the evaluation of how you staff referees so that the games aren't putting athletes in physical jeopardy. And if you zoom out, the bigger picture, as I'm processing everything she said, I think it's just a lack of communication between the players and Cathy Engelbert. I think that's what it really is. I think that's what the pain point of every single thing she said today is, hey, I try to reach out to you. This is out of desperation. There's no other way I can present this because I'm not being met with a response. And so I feel like if there's a more healthy form of communication back and forth, again, I cannot speak to it. I do not play in the WNBA. I am simply just close to it. But I think that the interpretation of the players are we have concerns. They're not being met. We're in negotiation. That's not being met. We feel neglected. We feel like we're not, we're marketed as the best product in the world, but not treated as that. And we're tired of it. I think this thing came from fatigue, frustration, and feeling like you're not being heard.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think it's more so the referees, not saying qualifications, but like even in our league, man, I just think the guys think that the referees have too much power.
Yeah,
and it's because there's not an abundance of them. They don't find a bunch of different guys that are qualified or that want to do it, or not even it's a lot of ex-players don't want to. Like, it's hard to find guys that want to referee, and that's why I give them a little slack. Like, it's not an easy job.
Well, DJ, like last in game 4,
years old.
In game 4, the Aces shot 11 free throws. Indiana shot 34. But then the game before that, there was a situation, the situation with Cheryl Reeve, and that being her final straw when Napheesa got hurt. Even though, again, it was a clean steal according to the footage. But I think that they don't mind physicality. It's a physical game, right? Point blank period. It's a physical game. They just want the whistle on both ends. So you don't have one who is able to be so much more physically aggressive, assertive, and then you're having to play back, and then you're subjecting yourself. Yeah, you're subjecting yourself to injury because they are so empowered to be so much more physically on you during the games.
You just want consistency, and I think that's what most leagues, most players, most teams are fighting for. So, go ahead, H.
And it feels like it only gets exasperated when you're in a league where you feel like you're also underpaid, and the CBA's coming up, and you're also have the opportunity to play in this 3-on-3 league, which has a valuation now of $340 million. And you're saying to yourself, all of these things are making me unhappy in this league, and I shouldn't be this unhappy. And I think it's probably it came to a head today. So
the real, I'm sorry, just one last thing. The real situation is that they do have a taste of Unrivaled, but the goal, in my opinion, should be the WNBA and Unrivaled working in tandem to create a year-round situation for athletes, right? Like, they should work in tandem with that. But the players are becoming empowered because they know what it takes to get a league off the ground. And it's no longer that you can glaze over player requests and situations because they know operationally how things work now. It's a much different league, a much smaller league, a much less tenured league. They still have rounds of investors, and so it's like it's funded differently. There's a lot of differences in the business side that we don't have time for today. But what they know is that if they voice a concern at Unrivaled, it's being met with a solution. They want solutions.
H, when did the steal take place? What time of the game? Was it the fourth quarter?
It was game 3, like under 2 minutes left. And it led.
Do you have a 2-minute report like how the league has?
So they reviewed it,
and they said
it was clean.
They reviewed it.
Hey, listen. Yeah, I personally thought it was a steal. I didn't find too much of an issue with that.
That was Cheryl's last straw when because Napheesa went down with an injury. That was her last straw. But the problems started beforehand. The problems it was
a domino effect. It was trickling down.
That was the 13th reason, and she was like, "Y'all gonna get me today." And then you have Lindsay Whalen trying to bring her off the court. Dejanay holding the towel, not helping nothing, but we love her, protecting and serving. But literally, it was Cheryl Reeve's 13th reason. It just was.
We got two more things, and before I want to just get a prediction on how this all plays out from you, Ari. But before we get out of here, I'm going to say it, and I think Danny feels the same way. The WNBA suspending any coach for a playoff game is out of pocket. I don't care.
Out of pocket. Way out of pocket. You're fine.
Unless she was put behind bars. You don't suspend. You would never suspend Eric Spoelstra, Greg Popovich. Come on, what are we doing here?
Not just a suspension; it was a $15,000 fine on top of that. And I think that was compared to others who've gotten 1,000, other coaches who got 1,000, it was the extreme fine. Yeah, you can take, but I think the suspension was trying to set a statement that clearly backfired today.
Yeah, it's way out of pocket. That's terrible. We can't have that. No.
Yep.
I think that, Danny, what if Adam Silver suspended Greg Popovich for a playoff game? What would happen?
There might be the city would shut. Like you shouldn't be. San Antonio City Arena protest. You're gonna see a lot.
There is no game. They'll find there's no game
in the city. Ain't no game. They're gonna be smoking the city, and the fans gonna be front line. Players too. The whole league might shut down. You're like, what? Even if it's not even just Pop. There's other guys I respect too. Spo is another one. Like I was like, what the hell are we doing? There'd be a lot of riffraff going around the whole sports world, especially the NBA, if something like that happened. It's unacceptable.
I feel like Greg Popovich would have just went out there and started coaching. They would have had to physically move him.
Yeah, I dare you to move me.
I'm shocked that's because that's a very Cheryl Reeve move too. Honestly, I respect the hell out of Cheryl for proving that she has her players' backs. There is nothing that she loves more than her athletes, and it's reflective in the way she coaches, the way she runs her program, the culture that they've culminated in Minnesota, and how she acts when she feels like her players' safety is at risk. And I think that those actions of protectiveness and the actions of, hey, I have your back is kind of what they want from the commissioner, not so one-on-one, but just say, hey, we know that this is the best league in the world. We know that we put out a great product. We know it's honestly the catalyst for how well women's sports are doing. Protect us better. And so when you have this juxtaposition of Cheryl in the Minnesota Lynx, but you have Cathy in the league, there's a discrepancy here. And so I think this is a call to action, if nothing else. It's you've got to do better, and we're demanding that. The players are demanding better from their leadership. They're demanding better for their situations. And honestly, when it comes to the negotiation of the CBA, nobody wants this train to stop moving. They're going to come up with an agreement. They're going to come up with it. This happens every 4 years. Everybody in public is dramatic about it. They always figure it out. But now there are a lot more eyes on it. So I understand how jarring this can be for the general public who just got here. Welcome to the family, baby. We have family businesses out here. But I don't anticipate. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I don't anticipate a lockout. They're going to be just fine. Everything's going to pan out with meeting the demands of the players and having a great negotiation situation. But what I'm wondering is how they're going to exist after this with Cathy Engelbert, and I want to know on all parties how that's going to pan out.
I tweeted it today. I think Cathy Engelbert should just go full heel mode and go full Vince McMahon at this point, because they got her as public enemy number one right now for sure. With that being said, Ari, it has been a pleasure to have you on the show. Enjoy the rest of the WNBA finals, and I'm sure you'll be all on top of whatever happens with the CBA negotiations. Again, I believe.
No, that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I think it expires October 31st, but obviously the next season isn't for a while. So a lot going on in the W, a lot going on in the world of basketball. When we come back with Inside the Green Room, Jonathon Kuminga finally got his paper, but will he stay with the Golden State Warriors for the remainder of the season? We'll discuss that next right here. Welcome back to Inside the Green Room with Danny Green. I'm Harrison Sanford, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. Shout out to Ari Chambers. Make sure you find her on all things social. She came through and laid some good intel on what's going down on the WNBA. And speaking of which, before we get into NBA news, there is a new report that I just saw, Danny, that says that never mind. Excuse me. Sources. There was a report that Cathy Engelbert will be exiting as WNBA commissioner after the CBA negotiations are over.
NBA
I wasn't the set. It wasn't the Centel. It literally just happened, so I don't have the time to go into it. We'll see what happens. I think Hey, listen, man, I'm going to be very curious to see what happens there. But let's get into the NBA at this moment. And Jonathon Kuminga finally signed a deal with the Golden State Warriors. He will be playing with them, not accepting the qualifying offer. He got a 2-year deal worth so much going on, Danny. 2-year deal for Jonathon Kuminga worth $48.5 million. Now, there is a belief that once he's eligible to be traded, which will be in January, that will give the Warriors more opportunity to trade him, because obviously as an $8 million player on a qualifying offer, no team is going to trade for Jonathon Kuminga because they know he's going to eventually leave. And obviously, if you're the Golden State Warriors, you want to pay Jonathon Kuminga upwards of $20 million so that when you trade him away, you can get back a player worth $20 million. That's how you make the math make sense. So essentially, it feels like Jonathon Kuminga is just going to be an asset, Danny. And I want to get your opinion on what Jonathon Kuminga is with the Golden State Warriors, and then also have to update that over the past week, Golden State Warriors did add Al Horford to their roster, and they also signed recently, as of Tuesday night, Seth Curry as well. Your thoughts, one, on Jonathon. What is Jonathon Kuminga going to be with the Warriors? And two, what are the Warriors this upcoming season?
I think he's going to be what he was last year. I just don't see them featuring him or using him the way that they should. As you said, it's a short stay guy. I think they're using him as trade bait, trying to find a home for him to get somebody else in, which ultimately I think in the future is going to hurt them. In the long run, this is a kid that you should be building around, and you're looking to, I don't know, for some odd reason, get older guys in there. I said, I love Seth Curry, love Al Horford, great pieces. And I thought the Clippers were old, but look, it seems like Golden State is trying to one up the Clippers at this point. They're getting a bunch of guys. They need more young bodies. And to me, after seeing the roster they fill out, they had 9 guys on roster as of like 3 or 4 days ago. Now they're trying to fill out the roster. I see them as a play-in team. I just don't think they have enough bodies or enough young youth to stay afloat during the regular season. And it's going to be a lot of weight on Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, who we know is known to chill during the regular season. He's known to take a cruise control. There is no cruise. He can't cruise this year. Like, Draymond's also older. Like, they all have to stay healthy for a certain amount of time and can't be on cruise control for them not to be in the play-in in the West. And I just don't see that happening. They're going to be a play-in team and probably a first-round exit type of team this year. But Kuminga could have been one of the franchise guys, but I see him not being or ended up or staying there for the duration of his contract.
What was interesting, Danny, as we saw last year with the NBA playoffs, is that we started to see the young guard really start to become the present day guard. Look at Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves making it to the Western Conference Finals. Obviously, OKC won. And it feels like these other franchises that have a Steph Curry, that have a James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, it's so hard to move on to the next stage of your franchise because you still look at those guys and you still recognize their greatness. But at some point, it is not a 16-game season. It's not a 30-game season. It's an 82-game season. And as great as the Warriors could be for the majority, how great the Warriors could be in a 1-game off, what happens in game 90 after you played an 82-game season, and now you're going to Minnesota and Steph Curry's ran laps and miles and miles and miles, and his hamstring.
37 years old. Yeah. That's, you got to factor in all those things. The science of the game is why you got all the medical staff, because they know what the wear and tear is, and you don't have the luxury of resting these guys throughout the season. I don't think so. But if you keep Kuminga and you actually use him, you could. If you use those other young guys, Podziemski, like, they're going to have to step up and play well. Gary Payton's got to stay healthy. Buddy Hield's got to step up again. So they have some good pieces, man. But ultimately, I see the same results as last year.
I wouldn't want to play them, but they are beatable. Like, they would still kind of be like,
they're scary.
They could be any team, but they could also, it feels like they could also lose to any team. And that's how it feels to them. All right, time to get to our out-of-pocket segment. We'll go through this one real quick. All right. Clippers had media day, and boy, oh boy, it feels like it never stops with Aspiration, Steve Ballmer, Pablo, Torrey, Uncle Dennis. The names go on. What a drama that's going to be. And we won't hear any results on any investigation, it would seem, from the NBA until after the All-Star game. And by the way, the All-Star game is in LA this year, and the Clippers are hosting it. How ironic. With that being said, though, Danny, Lawrence Frank, Clippers GM, was asked if Uncle Dennis received any extra benefits. His answer,
for any extra was, yeah.
He asked him
if he asked him behind closed doors for any extra benefits.
And he said Dennis knows the rules. Kawhi knows the rules. It feels like at this point, even if you're a reporter in the locker room, you're not. It's almost like a failed mission. You're not going to get them to give the actual answer. It's just going to come down to the investigation at this point, and they're not going to. If they end up getting penalized, or if they end up admitting they did something wrong or knew they were doing something wrong, it's not going to happen during a press conference.
No,
I ain't mad at anybody for asking the question though.
It's their job. You got to keep asking. You ask in different ways, like an interrogation. You try to ask it 6 different ways, see if you get the answer. But they're media trained. They're not stupid enough to answer. Again, though, the way L. Frank, one of my guys, he's good dude. I think he could have just been straight to the point and was like, no, he could have just blatantly lied, which we expect everybody to happen. But it can leave room for speculation when he goes, Kawhi knew the rules, Dennis knew the rules, I knew the rules. So, sir, does that mean it seems like he avoided the question? Did he ask or did he not? Could have just no, he never asked. Well, I said because it went back and forth and because he, the long drawn out answer, it left room for speculation. But you're not going to get the truthful answer, even if it was something that he knew about. But yeah, L. Frank could have just been like, no, and just shut it down. But they're going to keep asking. That's the media's job. And I'd be surprised if somebody slipped because you're not in a hot seat for 48 hours in the interrogation room where they turn the heat up or turn it down, get cold, leave you no food, no phone calls, and you get tired and sleep deprived. They're not doing that. They can rest, come back home, and give you the same answer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And getting millions while doing it.
Yeah.
All right. Next out of pocket. Is it out of pocket from the NBA general managers across the league that Russell Westbrook is not on a roster?
I think it's yes and no. It's hard to say.
No.
I feel like Russ is more out of pocket of opting out of his contract with not having one in place already. For me, he had a player option in Denver and decided to opt out. In my mind, I thought he had something guaranteed or something already in the books, like somebody's interested. For you to opt out, from what I heard, is that they were not planning on to play him at all this year, even behind certain guys that he should be above. Still, you still take the guarantee, make him trade you, make him get you, whatever. You take the guaranteed money unless you know for sure that you have somebody in place. So, again, I think Russ is still very much going to have had a great playoff series with the Nuggets against the Clippers. I want to say he had a great playoffs. All playoffs, he played well. He had a great year. Do I think he's deserving of a roster spot? Absolutely. But in today's world, man, once you have year 18 or so, 19, once you're over 35, you're viewed as old. And it's crazy for me to call guys old because I don't think I'm old in real life. But in basketball years, young guys call me a dinosaur. So these guys that are 35 and up, and if you are not Steph Curry, KD, and still playing at that level at All-Star, it's harder to hold on because they know you have an ego. They don't want to. You don't want to take the minimum. You want to be in a contender. It's hard to get all these things aligned. Like now, if it's a lower team, yes, he should definitely be. There's 30 teams. Somebody should be able to sign Russ, even if it's the Utah Jazz or whoever it is. They can use some veteran leadership.
Well, that's kind of like what Melo ran into the end of his career. It was almost like the young teams don't want him because why have somebody taking up minutes from a player that should be developed?
They can groom a player, yeah.
And you
got to take that role. You got to be able to accept the role of just being on the bench and grooming these guys. And I think if Russ is okay with that, he could definitely be on one of those teams. But most guys that are in that field that have that ego and that are superstars are not able to take a back seat toward the end of their career and say, I'm willing to not play at all and just help these young guys groom. So that's why it's tougher for him. And that's why I think Russ is more out of pocket than GMs are for opting out without having, something in hand.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we don't know what happened. So, you know how it goes, Danny. Sometimes GMs.
Some people lie. Some people take shit back. So say, I'm interested. And they disappear. And the market says, we don't have space, Everybody wants a Damian Lillard love, but not everybody's going to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to go back to your old place and at least get a minimum. Shit, Damian's getting 14. Like, you can't even get a minimum at the places that you called home, which is it's the tough business.
I wouldn't be mad, bro. If he ended up in OKC. All right, one more out of pocket. And We don't know the relationship status between Klay Thompson and Megan Thee Stallion, but we did know they were dating during the summer because it was all over social media. A reporter asked Klay Thompson if his relationship with Meg Thee Stallion will help him off the court. And obviously, we already know whoever asked that question out of pocket. We ain't mad at you, though, because way out of pocket, but we ain't mad at you. But it makes me wonder, Danny, what's the craziest question that you've gotten asked?
Everybody knows this one. This one goes viral like every year, every couple of years. Charlamagne. As soon as I get on air, I was younger, and I don't want to get canceled by the LGBTQ community. And Tim Duncan gay, and it's like, I don't want to be like talk of it as in a derogatory sense, but I'm like, no, I don't think so. And Tim's like, yo, thanks for having my back, man. It's like, Tim, I didn't know what to say in the moment. It just came out of nowhere. It was hella rash, and it's a viral moment every year.
So Charlamagne didn't give you no heads up.
No, bro, I had no heads up on this. I was like, I'll come in like, yeah, I'm from New York. You know what I'm saying? I'm right down the city. Like, oh, you from the area? I'm from Long Island. It's not far. So is Tim Duncan bisexual? Whoa, hold on, bro. First of all, this guy got a family. He's got kids. He's going through a divorce. Why are we talking about this man's sexuality? I don't know, and I don't care. He's the best power forward of all time. He comes in. I don't think he's gay. That's not my concern. He rebounds. He his great screens. He passes the ball very well, and it's not my concern. He's going through a lot, and I support him. But he had a wife. He has kids, and he has another. I don't think he's gay. But to come out and it was very aggressive, bro. Caught me way off guard.
And the thing is, too, you can't say no, absolutely not out of disgust.
That's what I'm saying.
Because you didn't want to offend the community.
It was right around that time where it was like, you say something
we'll get canceled.
The community is gonna come for me. You know what I'm saying? Ray J would say the gay agency, they'll come after me. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, I gotta be very careful. I told this line. I was like, no, I don't think so. But if he was, but I'm like, nah, hell no. Timmy ain't get. I don't want to speak on it.
Yeah. See, if you said it like
Tim
that,
wanted
the whole thing.
Have his back and be like, yo, DG, thanks for having my back, bro. I'm like, he wanted me to speak on it. Like, that's like, Tim, I can't speak like that on air because I don't know how it's going to be perceived. But I know you're not gay. I don't think you're gay. And if you are, I don't give a damn, Tim. You set screens. We play basketball. You rebound. You make the game easier for me, man. I love it. You're able to. We won a championship together. Gay or not, bro, you're my guy. So it was a wild, awkward, silent, and off guard moment for me, and I didn't know what the hell how to respond. I was like, but I feel like I smoothly, you know what I'm saying? I don't think so. But Charlamagne, he's always known to come out of pocket, just being wild.
Did you text Tim after the interview? Did you text like this? So Tim probably saw it on social media, like, what the hell? Why is that even a question?
Social media wasn't big back then, so it wasn't as big. And I didn't think Tim would even see it or hear it. You know what I'm saying? He obviously saw it later. And I don't text him for anything unless it's something like I really need something. And, he jokingly came up to me after, like, some months later and was like, oh, thanks for having my fucking back, guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, oh, you saw that? It's like, bro, Tim, I didn't know. He kind of cornered me, bro. Like, and I was like, fucking guy, thanks. He was messing with me. But, I didn't think he would see it because it wasn't like Twitter, which is X now, it was kind of big, but Instagram, there was no TikTok, there was none of that back then. Like Instagram was just very, very new at that point. This is before we won it. It had to be like 2012 or something like that. This was way back in the day. Social media wasn't that big. So, and he didn't have social media, which he still doesn't have to this day. So I'm like, Timmy's never going to see this. I hope to God he doesn't see this. But he did. Somebody sent it to him for sure.
If you called Tim Duncan right now, would he pick up?
Probably. If his number's still the same. Take like every 5 years we'll shoot a random text to me. He'll be like, hey man, what the fuck? I saw you over here doing this. It's like, oh shit, this is still your number, okay. But he probably would. It's my guy, man. One day when I see him, it's always love, bro. It's like it's one of my guys.
One of these shows, we gotta just do a random phone call. You guys gotta pick somebody famous in your phone and call them. All right. We gotta keep moving. So much is going down. All right. A couple of news and notes. LeBron James says that he's not waiting for Bryce when asked about playing with his youngest son. Do you believe him?
Yeah, I believe him because we don't know if Bryce is. Bro, year 23. LeBron has got the record now. Officially, the most years in the NBA at 23 years. because everybody else before it was 20. Vincent and somebody else did 22 years. Him for the most. So 23 years, and Bryce is only a freshman at University of Arizona.
Yep.
And he's a good player, but we don't know if he's ready. And if Bron is trying to get there, man, said his body, he might not be able to walk at 45. Like,
well, and I think, Danny, the thing that really is interesting about that, it kind of makes it difficult for LeBron to even think about making that commitment, is that we saw the reports that LeBron actually wanted a contract extension from the Lakers this offseason, and they didn't give it to him. So if you're LeBron James and now you can't get what you want, you know, whether the Lakers have a valid reason or not, I think there's there are some valid reasons as to why you want to give LeBron an extension. His age,
and we got Bryce. Yeah, we got Bronny here too. So it's like,
and we got Luka.
Amount of favors. Yeah, we got Luka. So
exactly.
I said Bron is still one of the greatest players to ever play the game, and he still has said to do it at year 22 the way he did it. If he does it again in year 23, bro. People people haven't seen this, so they're going to question the validity of it, and people are going to think he's on some type of drugs. So, yes, I still he's a great player. He takes care of his body, does what he's supposed to do. But if he can last to Bryce, people are really going to ask for, some drug testing. Just like they're looking for they're looking for the Epstein files. They're going to be looking for LeBron James blood. You know what I'm saying? Tested. That's how adamant the sports world is going to be about it, because the Michael Jordan and the greatest of all time conversations, when you have Bron doing year 24 and still doing his crazy shit, but he was on steroids like Barry Bonds or Mark McGwire, they're gonna be testing the validity of his his health.
That's how great. That's how great he is.
That's how good he is, bro. That's how good he is.
That's how good he is. That he got people wondering what's going on. All right, let's keep on moving. And now it's time to get to our betting segment. As I said, our show is now presented to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. And we spent some time talking about the Rockets in the last show because Fred VanVleet is done for the season. Now, we've heard some optimism from Ime Udoka and the overall players of the Houston Rockets as it pertains to this upcoming season. We heard that they might be willing to play a big lineup with Amen Thompson at the 1, KD at the 2, Jabari Smith Jr. at the 3, Sengun at the 4, and Steven Adams at the 5. That will be dangerous. But if you look on FanDuel Sportsbook right now, Danny, the Houston Rockets are set to have an over-under set at 52.5 wins. And just to help you with your prediction on the Houston Rockets, last year they were 52-30. Danny, are you taking the over or the under for the Houston Rockets win total?
I'm taking the under. They were number 2 seed last year in the West, if I'm not mistaken.
They were.
I don't see them getting back. It said 52 wins. It doesn't seem like a lot. It's a good amount of wins. That gets you in the top 3 or 4 on East or West. I just don't see that happening this year. With the injury of Fred VanVleet, I'm taking the under.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to take the under too. Again, I think they could be a very good team, a very challenging team to beat, particularly in the playoffs. But now you're looking at a situation where Kevin Durant is somebody you really have to rely on. If he has if he has a high ankle sprain or forearm sprain or whatever it might be that causes him to miss 2-3 weeks, that could be the difference between them being the 2 seed and being a 6 seed. And last year I made some over-under plays for win totals going into the season. And while you do not want to do this, you have to be aware that injuries can happen. And how can a team survive an injury? For example, last year I took the under on the Philadelphia 76ers. And it's not that I didn't think they were talented. Obviously, Joel Embiid, when healthy, I think is a top 3 player in the NBA. Yeah, I said it, when healthy. Paul George, a very talented player. Tyrese Maxey, another year. And Nick Nurse, who I think is a very good head coach. But in this game, at least in betting, you have to consider if injury is going to happen. And you can, in my opinion, Danny, you take the under or you don't bet it at all. You cannot be betting that they would actually more than 52.5 when they're relying on a player like KD at age 37. It's not a why. Either you don't bet it or you bet the under. Do not, you can't take the over. I'm sorry.
No.
You just
wouldn't be smart. Wouldn't advise it.
Wouldn't advise it. All right, now it's time for us to get out of here. And at the end of every show, you know what we got to do. We got to do our top 5. And so for this top 5, Danny, you want to do it or you want me to do it?
You got this one, bro. It's all you.
Okay, our top 5. And so in honor of the MLB playoffs getting started, I am going to give you my top 5 of the hardest titles to win in sports. And we got some pretty dang good competition. Among the competition for the 5 hardest things to win in sports, it could be a Super Bowl, the college football playoff, March Madness, NBA Finals, Stanley Cup Finals, MLB playoffs, the Masters, and any gold medal. With that being said, Danny, number 5, going with the gold medal. You have to go with the gold medal. You're competing. I can't give you any gold medal in any sport, because once you win a gold medal, you're validating the fact that you're the best in the world. Now, I understand that there are certain sports you don't need a gold medal to validate that you're the best in the world. For example, the U.S. national team, they don't value winning a gold medal more than they would winning the NBA Finals, because the best competition is generally in the United States for the most part.
For sure.
That being said,
in today's world, I think it's harder now to get it, because back in the day, USA used to clean up gold medals crazy. But
exactly.
Now it's harder to win gold medals all across the board. So yes, I agree with that. Go ahead.
Number 5 is a gold medal. Okay, number 4, I'm going with an NBA or WNBA Finals. More often than not, the best team wins. And I think that's what happens when you have a best of 7. And so, yes, while it is still an achievement, you still have the benefit of the doubt because you played an 82-game season. Every series is a best of 7. You have elements like home court advantage that play to your favor. So while it's very difficult, and I do not shun anybody who's won the championship in the WNBA or in the NBA, I think it's the 4th hardest thing to do in sports.
Okay.
Number 3.
NCAA championship.
College football playoff.
Okay.
I think the college football playoff is difficult to win because football is just a hard game. And it's a one thing that you do. Now, granted, the way it's kind of set up now, you're allowed to lose 1 to 2 games, maybe even 3 if you're in the SEC or the Big Ten to get to the playoff. But once you get to the playoff, it's one and done. And yes, I know with the new playoff, you can have home field advantage for certain games. But by the time you get to the Rose Bowl or the Sugar Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, the national semifinal, you're playing in a neutral field. And it's a 1-game situation. If your game plan is trash, if your quarterback gets a bad hamstring, everything could be cooked. So number 3, the college football playoff.
I'm interested in number 2 because I know what your number 1 is. I'm interested in number 2 is.
Number 2, the Stanley Cup Finals.
Ooh.
I will say it here. I said it before and I'll say it again. Hockey is the most difficult sport to play of all sports because skating in itself is a sport. And now you have to put in coordination with the stick and the puck while people are laying into you while they have legalized fighting. Danny, the way that these players play with some of the most gruesome injuries, and you never even know. Somebody can have a torn ACL for all you would know. And then on the injury report it says lower body injury. And they still might play. They are the toughest players playing the toughest sport. And to last in 7-game series playing on ice, I got to give them their credit. The 2nd hardest title to win, Stanley Cup Finals. And at number 1,
NFL. Super Bowl's got to be number 1.
Come on now. Yeah. March Madness.
Okay, I'm shocked that you went to college. I'm shocked because yes, by a lot of luck. Okay.
In a field of 64 or 68, yes, you might end up playing a 16 seed, but you also might end up playing a 12 seed that has gotten so much momentum and energy from winning a game. This is their life. This is for a lot of these players. It's the last hurrah for their careers. You're playing on neutral courts majority of the time, and it's only 1 game, not 2 games, not a best of 3. It's just 1 game. And the environment, the history of upsets, Danny, I think provides the Cinderella teams with even more impetus to feel like they can get it done. It's not like, Danny, you go to once you make it to the playoffs in the NFL, everybody feels like they have a shot. And so like, you feel like there's an even playing field. But as a man who played for North Carolina, you probably know what it feels like when Wofford comes in or St. Peter's comes in. And they're like, hey, man, this is my – I got nothing to lose. And I've seen it being done before. I've seen Bryce Drew. I've seen Weber State. What a name, your Cinderellas all over. I've seen it happen.
George Mason.
And maybe I could be. I've seen George Mason. I believe I could be the one. And if you are Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, Arizona, palms start getting tight, butts start getting clenched when it's a 5-point game under 4 minutes left.
Where did Gordon Hayward go to school? Butler.
Butler.
Yeah, bro. Nah. I'm shocked, but I thought you had NFL up in that list somewhere, bro. Solid 5, but I thought NFL is a tough one to win.
In retrospect, I might put the NFL in replacement of the college football playoff. That is an option. Mm-hmm. I would also say too, I have to start playing golf more to qualify the Masters, but I'm sure people who play golf will tell you how difficult the Masters are. But for me, that's my top 5. Gold medal at number 5. We have number 4 was, what did I say was number 4?
NBA championship.
NBA championship. Number 3, college football playoff. Number 2, Stanley Cup finals. Number 1, the NCAA tournament, men's and women's.
I would definitely. That's a great list. And for me, I would honorable mention or teams that if I had to my top 5, I think you got to put some boxing or MMA fighting in there. That's a tough sport as well.
But Danny, there's so many different titles. There's so many different titles. There's so many weight classifications. I couldn't do it. I understand, but I can't do it. I can't do it. I understand though.
Good list.
All
right, for tuning in.
Yes, indeed, y'all.
Man.
Before we go, just to let you guys know, as I said at the beginning of the show, this time around, this season of Inside the Green Room, we will be with you again Wednesday mornings and Friday mornings, and you just might find us streaming live on X or on YouTube. So get familiar. We're doing new things. Thank you for Ari Chambers for jumping in. Danny, obviously, shout out to you. Again, our show is presented to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Now, tell them what to do.
Read, rate, subscribe, review. Peace.